Are you ready to be a master of your life? Is it even possible? Yes, it is possible, and in this video we'll talk about some practical things we can do to get there. Hello, I'm Marvin Glenn, the Singing Sage. I'm a regular guy who has had the usual life of struggle with my own inner demons of hatred, anger, resentment, addictions, and perversions. When I was 55, I sat down one day to practice some music at the piano. As I was opening some sheet music, I accidentally touched two keys, and I heard a melody take off from those notes. I followed that melody, and surprisingly, I wrote my first song. During the year following that surprise, over 100 songs exploded out of me. They all came from my greater self. So now, after more than 80 years on the planet, I'm sharing my songs with you, along with some of my own techniques and wisdom I use to live my life. Maybe you can benefit from my thoughts and songs and be able to live an even more enjoyable life than you already are. We can master our lives by mastering ourselves. The secret truth is that we all are already masters of our lives. We just have forgotten it. We don't remember. Because of all the lies we've been told about ourselves over the last 6,000 years, we have been living in a vast universal matrix of deception. Everything we really are has been hidden from us. There's no reason to be angry or resentful, though, because we agreed to be ignorant and to be kept that way so we could make up any story we wanted and enjoy living it our way. Also, we knew that we would be opening ourselves up to the pleasures and pains of this domain. Why would we do all that in the first place? We knew it would be fun and exciting, and we knew it would be a way to stretch and exercise our spiritual, emotional, and intellectual muscles. We wanted to participate in this grand universal drama, or comedy, so we could grow into the next grand version of ourselves. We knew also that we would be building our spiritual muscles and growing our wisdom. Before we took the leap, we all knew we really are infinite and eternal creator beings who can never actually be injured or killed. And we knew we would feel and learn what it meant to be human at the deepest and highest levels of our existence. By the way, before we go any further, if you want to know even more about this wonderful experience we call life on Earth, I recommend you go to the website of my mentor, the great George Kavassilas. His information and book, Our Universal Journey, are treasures, and really opened my eyes to what's real and to what it means to be authentic. The links are both in the description down below. So what I'm saying is that we have always been masters, and that because we have been swimming in a black, sticky tar of self-deception for thousands of years, we have to inch our ways out of the mud and back into our own personal light of wisdom and truth. The one thing that makes this the most challenging work we will ever do is our mind. To be a master, to raise the veil of amnesia is the thing that we must do. We must accept something else nearly impossible to accept. Our beliefs are all lies. We have all been brainwashed and programmed, and we have to admit it to ourselves. To put it another way, we have to own all of our creations. To own means to accept whatever we see in ourselves without judging or condemning ourselves, and to accept full responsibility for whatever shows up without blaming anyone else for it. You know, by my being consistent, working on myself for the last few years, I finally got to the place where I can love myself. That's the most important place to come to, because the only way I can love another person is if I love myself. Self-love keeps us growing in strength and emotional intelligence and spiritual maturity. Those are the solid foundations of our happiness. Here are some of the powerful techniques I use and practical things I do that help me become more of a master of myself and to be happy. First, whenever I get emotionally upset, I ask myself, before I act, I ask myself, what is it in me that just got triggered? And then I wait for the answer. Sincerity is really important at this moment. I know that if I wait with sincerity in my heart, I get an answer from my inner self. 99% of the time, the thing that triggered me is some unconscious, unpleasant memory or trauma in my past, usually as a child. When I'm triggered today, I know it's my inner child. I created my inner child by the ways I reacted to my traumas and to the bad things, the difficult things that happened to me as a child. When I'm triggered today and I have those same reactions, I realize the reactions in this moment are from a long time ago. I work hard now to acknowledge, face, and admit to myself that I'm the one that is creating all of this. I don't ignore the feelings that I feel from my inner child inside. All they want is my love. My love heals them and me. There's nothing wrong with emotions, you know. They're only energy in motion. They can't hurt us when we use our emotional intelligence and express them in safe and non-destructive ways. So the way I do that is by facing and embracing them. Face them directly, embrace them, and letting my love erase them. After all, my inner child, all it wants is my love and acknowledgement and to be heard and to feel safe. That's what my inner child wants. So by facing and embracing every part of ourselves, we heal and honor our lost parts, and that glues us all back together. That's the most powerful way for us to reintegrate, to become people of integrity again. The second thing I do, I remember I am not my thoughts and I am not my body. Most of our thoughts are not ours. They don't start in our brains. Thoughts are energy. It's a soup through which we're walking, the thought energy, all day, wherever we go. I bet you love soup, and so do I. My favorite is split pea with carrots and leeks, along with some good croutons or toast. Yeah, well, anyway, we don't have any control over the ingredients in this thought soup, but we can control how we handle our thoughts. Speaking for myself, I'm on the lookout for lies, which are constant in this world. Constantly floating around looking for somebody's day to ruin. The first thing I do is look directly at this thought that's bugging me and watch its reactions to me watching it. You know, it's surprising how the thoughts can be so alive and so like an entity. So the first thing I do is look directly at it and watch its reaction to my watching it. When I watch them, they are surprised usually because they're not used to people watching them. And they shut up for a minute, then they just gallop away like a three-legged horse. Byron Katie says, because my thoughts are usually negative, I ask them, can I know you're true? Can I absolutely know you're true? Whenever I hear a negative thought, it's a lie. I ignore it. Simple as that. The third thing I do on my path toward mastery is to make sure I hang on to my power. To do that, I never play the victim, because victimhood is the way we give our power away. And I never blame anyone else for anything that's going wrong or feels bad in my life. When I'm tempted to blame somebody else, I say to myself, hey Marvin, who's living your life anyway? That question always reminds me that I am the only one living my life. I can't blame anyone else. We are the only ones who are actually responsible for us. In fact, I stopped the blame game a long time ago. I keep my power. Anytime we find ourselves being pulled down emotionally, we can choose to change our mental focus to something else that's uplifting and inspiring. We can say to ourselves, isn't it interesting how much I'm challenging myself right now? All this, my friend, takes awareness, determination, and great bravery. It also takes a powerful will. I'd like to tell you a story about powerful will. There were two monks sitting in the back of a Buddhist meeting, listening to their master. And one monk said to the other, you know, I'm really curious how the Master can be so happy all the time. So I'm going to go up after the meeting and I'm going to talk to him and ask him that question. So he went up after class and talked to the master and said, "Dear master, I sure would like to know your secret to being so happy all the time." The master looked at him, smiled, and walked away. The next day, the two monks were in the back of the class again. And one monk said to the other, "You know, he didn't answer my question yesterday. So I'm going to go up again when this is done, and I'm going to ask him the same question because I really need to know." So he asked the master again, "Master, I've really got to know your secret. Please tell me your secret." The master looked at him and smiled and walked away. So the next day, the monks were sitting back in the back of the class again, and one monk who had received no sleep the night before because he was so frustrated told the other monk, "I'm going to do it again. I've just got to know what it is my master does to stay so happy." So this time he went up to the master and demanded rather impatiently that he had to know from the master what his secret was. The master again looked at him and said, "Follow me." The master turned and walked into the river near the meeting place, and the young monk followed him into the river, all excited that he's going to learn the master's secret to happiness. The master turned around, put his hands on the monk's shoulders, and started pushing him down. The monk was rather surprised, but he started going down under the water. The master kept pushing on his shoulders, and the monk was finally under the water, even up to the top of his head. So he was very excited that Master was going to share his secret, so he waited without breathing for a minute to see what would happen. The Master kept holding him down under the water, and the little monk started getting worried. He said, "I can't breathe. I got to breathe pretty soon, but I think the Master's going to tell me a secret, so I'll wait." So after 2 minutes, the monk got to the place where he just had to breathe. He said, "I know I'm going to learn the secret, but I just have to breathe." And so he jumped up out of the water in a big panic, splashing water all over the master. The master waited quietly for him to calm down, and the monk said, "Why the hell did you do that to me?" The master looked him in the eye and he said, "When you want to be free as much as you wanted just now to breathe, you will be free." So at this time in our lives, it's so important for us to be kind and patient with ourselves. It's okay to appreciate yourself, you know. Please always acknowledge and thank yourself, even for a tiny step forward into your own light. Right now, I'm talking to an infinitely powerful being. You. Yes, you. What I'm really saying is now is the time for us all to grow up. We can't stay in kindergarten forever because the universe has exciting plans for us. In our near future, we'll be using our expanded wisdom, experience, and emotional intelligence to help many other distressed species as they also leave their cocoons and become butterflies throughout the universe. All of this is ours to enjoy because we are infinite universal creators, the most magnificent beings in this universe. Thank you so much for being with me today. Today's song is Be a Master.
Came and looked around. We found ourselves surrounded, and our hands and feet were bound. Here we breathe the air of anger, and the hatred seems so real. What a perfect place to master how we think and how we feel. Be a master,
Mighty master, gentle master,
master of yourself. Take your human dramas, put them on the shelf. I want, leaves us crying in the cold. Give your love to others, be a master bold. Often cowed by the screaming and immobilized by fright, we exist in dark confusion that extinguishes our sight. It may seem we have no power to decide on how to be, but it's easy to be happy and to be forever free. Be a master, loving master, perfect master, master of yourself. Take your human dramas, put them on the shelf. I want, leaves us crying in the cold. Give your love to others, be a master bold. It may seem you are forgotten, and it may seem you are alone, that you'll never be a king or queen, that you'll never have a throne. There is something to remember about reality, my friend. You're a powerful creator, and your glory never ends. Be a master, gracious master, happy master, great master of yourself. Take your human dramas, put them on the shelf. I want, just leaves us crying in the cold. Give your sweet love to others, be a master bold. Just give your great love to others, be a master bold.